Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Thousands of people are fleeing Ukraine's Donbas region as Russia shifts the focus of its attacks to the east of the country. And as Russian forces withdraw further from towns around the capital, the scale of death and destruction is becoming clearer. Here, a man mourning the death of his closest childhood friend, who disappeared when Russian troops occupied the town of Bucha. Burnt-out tanks and debris cover every inch of this town, and there are many more like it.
We all saw the gruesome pictures.
International condemnation of Russia continues to pour in for the atrocities that appear to have happened here. The Kremlin denies any Russian involvement.
With Russia, we have to cut ties.
In an impassioned plea in the Irish Parliament, President Zelensky asked lawmakers to show more leadership. Meanwhile, NATO foreign ministers are meeting for 2 days of talks on how to best support Ukraine.
So fast, but I'm afraid when you look at what's happening in Bucha, the revelations that we're seeing from what Putin has done in Ukraine, which doesn't look far short of genocide, to me, it is no wonder that people are responding in the way that they are.
Pope Francis has condemned what he called the massacre of Bucha and held up a blue and yellow Ukrainian flag that was sent to him from the town.
Viene dalla guerra.
This flag comes from the war, from the martyred city Bucha, Pope Francis said, holding up the flag for an audience of several thousand, which broke into applause. The flag looked darkened and stained and had writing on it. He then invited some Ukrainian children who escaped from the war on stage next to him. Sri Lanka's beleaguered president will not be resigning, his government's whip has said.
This is the time that they can come out.
The declaration defies calls from the public and political opponents for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to step down amid the country's economic crisis. Crowds have protested for weeks over lengthy power cuts and shortages of gas, food and other basic goods. The public anger has prompted nearly all cabinet ministers to quit and scores of MPs to leave his government. Opposition MPs have also rejected his invite to form a national unity government, saying voters want the president and the entire government to resign. Public transport has largely ground to a halt in the Greek capital as workers walked out of their jobs in a 24-hour general strike to protest rising prices. The strike left ferries to and from Greek islands tied up in port and left Athens without a subway, tram, trolley or suburban railway. State-run hospitals were treating emergency cases only as healthcare workers joined the strike. Public and private sector workers are demanding salary increases and measures to tackle rising prices. More than 10,000 people marched through central Athens in 2 demonstrations, and about 9,000 protesters held marches in Greece's second-largest city. Fresh fighting has broken out in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo days after rebels had declared a unilateral ceasefire to make way for talks with the government. In the last few days, around 6,000 refugees who had returned home have fled back to neighbouring Uganda. Sources say government forces are fighting to retake villages in Rutshuru area in North Kivu province that are currently occupied by the M23 rebels. Regional leaders were expected to meet this week over negotiations between the government and rebels. A 5.1 magnitude earthquake has hit the southwest China's Sichuan province. The quake struck Xingwen County of Yibin City at around 7:50 on Wednesday Beijing time. The epicenter was monitored at a depth of 10 kilometers. That's according to the China Earthquake Network Center. CCTV showed people running for cover as the tremors were felt. Authorities say so far there have been no reports of any casualties. And the singer Ed Sheeran has won a High Court copyright battle over his 2017 hit song Shape of You. A judge ruled that the singer-songwriter had not plagiarized the 2015 song Oh Why by Sammy Chokri, a grime artist who performs under the name Sammy Switch, had claimed the Oh I hook in Sheeran's track was strikingly similar to an Oh Why refrain in his own track. Sheeran said he did not remember hearing Oh Why before the legal case. Shape of You was the UK's best-selling song of 2017 in the UK and is Spotify's most streamed song ever. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios.